Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tracy here and I'm so excited to bring you a flip through. I've eventually finished my volume 4 journal. It's taken me so long, but I'm sitting down and I'm going to do a flip through. If you do not like chatty videos, then I'll do another flip through just with music. And if that's more your kind of video, then just head over to my channel and watch that. If you want some company and you like videos that are a little bit longer with some rambling, then I suggest getting a drink, something hot or cold, whatever you would like, and let's get right into it. I just first want to mention that I do not number all of my journals. Like my December daily and travel journals, on the inside of the cover I'll add a pocket and I will just put a date in there of when I started and when I finished the journal. It's only with my daily journals that I'll put a volume number, and I am using the word daily very loosely because I do not journal every single day at all. What I'm trying to say with that is that this journal it's got no specific theme to it. I put any and everything in here that I want to. It can be something like a birthday, an anniversary that's quite special, or a weekend away, a day trip. But it can also just be if I'm working through something, or we've had some dinner with family and I want to record or document that memory, I'll put it in here. I don't have any rules for this journal. Sometimes if I just want to add photos or put some ephemera in here, that's what I do. So it's a very journal that's got no theme to it or anything, and that's what I mean by the word daily. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, the cover I didn't do in one sitting. I decorated this throughout the time period that I did this journal. I don't always do that, but with this one I did. And it's just got a combination of magazine cutouts, stickers, but it's also got mementos from our day-to-day life, which makes it a little bit more special. So this is a chopsticks wrapper from food that we had, and I've added some of my favorite tea labels, something from the post office. I really like the color scheme of this. It's a color scheme that I don't normally go for, with the reds and the orange and a bit of the green. I've also added some blue, and I've used a Posca marker to do some mark making. I really love how it came together. And then on the spine, I've got some Tim Holtz washi tape. I really adore the sticker design. And at the back, I have continued with the green and the red, but I've also brought in some purple, and I actually think that just brightens up the whole journal. I think the back cover is my favorite. However, you can see I've got a blank spot there. I actually had one of these washi tape girls stuck there, but I think while I covered the journal, she must have fallen off and I didn't notice it. Luckily, it's the back, so I don't think it will be like that noticeable, but I know it was there. This is such an old vintage postage stamp. I really love it, and I'm so glad I've added this to my cover. I sometimes have a problem using my postage stamps, but I'm trying to get out of it. I've also added some tabs. I've got a video of this, so if you would like to see the process, I'll link it down below. I've got some lace fabric and also ones that I've made out of scrapbook paper. I usually keep my journal in this traveler's notebook, so it's nothing special. It's not a branded one. I've had it actually for such a long time and it's been working well, so I haven't felt the need to get another one, which is quite surprising. So let's get right into it. On the inside cover, I've just added some bits and pieces. I didn't really want to leave it blank, so I've got some Tim Holtz fabric here, some music paper. This is Jane Davenport washi, and these labels actually come from wine bottles. I usually pick my wine according to what the label looks like. I know it's not the best way of picking wine, but it's worked out well for me so far. I've got boarding passes here, and I usually print my photos when I'm journaling on the go. I'll use the HB Sprocket. It's so convenient. It prints on sticker paper and it's really quickly. But when I'm at home, I use my Canon selfie printer just because It's got a better quality. It's as easy as that. In the background, I've used some distress stain, and then I've also done some stenciling here with distress ink. They are very easy to also take along when you are journaling on the go. You can just pop it in a bag. It's not messy to apply. It's got bright colors. I don't mind it at all. A watercolor is another very good thing to take with you if you want to go journaling in a park or something like that. It's really so simple to add some color to your page. I've got an envelope here. I've used my Damo labeler and I've just typed out boarding pass travel. This is a sticker, I think from Officeworks. I got a pack. And I've just added some boarding passes, and then we had some food. So I've just added the container, like the packaging of the food that we had. And that sits in very snugly there. It's quite a narrow envelope. And then I've just attached a receipt here. I've stapled it again. We had some burgers at Grilled, and our cutlery actually came in this pocket. I've dismantled it and I've tipped it in, and I've just added some photos and another tea label. We had cappuccinos at Hooks, and I've just used the business card and tipped it in. This is a Tim Holtz stencil, and this is also distress ink. I think it was Blue Sketch, a beautiful color. I bought some PJs on this day, so I've just added the price tags. And this is printed on transparency. I'll show you what I'm using. I don't know if it's available still, but I got this a long time ago. It's Penguin Transparencies for inkjet printers, and I love printing my printables on here, not always just doing it on copy paper and just trying to go for something different. You can tip it in, stick it, or just put it in a pocket. You can basically do with it whatever you would like. And I have gone through definitely a tea phase here. So throughout this journal, you'll see a lot of tea labels popping up. I have just added them all to my journal. Then I've got another one of those transparencies. It's a fox, and oh, she's so cute, or he, who knows, but I think it's such a cute fox. Another tea label that I've stapled there, and this is mustard seed, a beautiful yellow color. On this day we went to the Shrine of Remembrance, so I've just added this postcard, and I've taken little photo shots that I've printed, and I just did a very simple border around here. This continues from that day, so just another postcard. And then we went for, I think it was lunch or dinner, to Miss Chu. It's one of our favorite places to go for a lunch or a dinner, and usually on these menus you just tick what you would like and then hand in your order. So I've kept one of those and tipped it in. Do you do things like that too? I'm sure you do. I'm always grabbing whatever I can to add to my journal. Then I've got some receipts here. It is fading, but you know, that's completely fine because I've got the memory there, so it's not the end of the world. And then a chopsticks wrapper. This is actually, I think, yes, this is the same wrapper that I've got in the front. I just think that was the back part of the wrapper and this was the front part. I'm pretty sure of that. So I've added this wrapper here. This is a Tim Holtz bingo card. I really love his ephemera pieces and products. We went to the market, so I've used some alpha stickers here just to stick out the word market. It's actually nice bright colors. I like how this page came together too. And then I've used watercolor here instead of distress stain. I like that watercolor mixes a little bit better and blends. It's not the best paper to use it on, but it's okay. It's just a journal. And then we went to IKEA for a shop. So I've used, we use these, what do you call it? Paper rulers to do some measuring. So I've just stapled one in. More tea labels. See, I've told you. I'm a little bit off the tea now though. And then I've got a doily here. I love adding doilies. It just softens the page, makes it a little bit romantic. Then from here on out, I've got a lot of process videos of these pages on my channel. If you see anything or something that I do not mention and you want to know more about it, I would suggest going to the playlist. It's Journal with Me's, and there's loads of videos in there, and I'm sure you will get some answers over there. Now, this page didn't turn out completely the way it's supposed to be. I didn't mean for this pink to be here. I did the background on this side and I added a lot of water. It soaked through. You can see it popping through there. So to try and make it look more part of the page, I just added some more distress stain around the edges with a paintbrush to hopefully make it look more part of the journal. And then this is a Tim Holtz scrapbook paper, and I've just made a tuck spot here. We went to the Melbourne Museum, so I've just added the tickets there. I can't remember where I got this from, but I really like it and I think it fits very well with the theme. These backgrounds, I love this color combo, and I just love how messy it looks, and I don't know, it's just really my kind of background. I used watercolor on this side, and this is distress stain. You can clearly see the difference. This is very light, which I don't mind, but these are Schminker watercolors and they just pop through. They like wham bam in your face. How I applied this was I think it was plastic packaging from stickers. I just added the colors to it, sprayed it with a bit of water because watercolor loves water, and then I just pressed it onto the page, and voila, that's the end result. Really easy, you can't mess it up, and it's got a beautiful end result. We had some frozen yogurt, so again, I've taken the business card and I've added this to my spread. I actually took a corner around it. It's a corner around it, and I rounded these corners but only the opposite corners, and then the other two are left as is, and I actually like that. I haven't done it again. It's something that I need to do a little bit more. Then this page I'm not even going to talk about. I don't like it at all. It's too busy, it's not working. S was a fail. On this side, I don't mind it. I like it actually. I used bubble wrap with watercolor. Also, just applying it directly to the bubble wrap, spraying with water and pressing it down. Easy as that. These are from a Daphne's Diary. I did a quote and I did some sewing around it. I did my date on the tag, and I've just used some washi to get it down on the page. I've done some sewing down here, which might be, I don't think it's going to be hard to see. I have zoomed in quite closely. And then this is something, again, if you go through your journals, you realize what things you've done that you forgot about and you actually like. I've got an app on my phone, it's called Pick Frame, and I have added this label here. It prints directly onto the photo and it actually looks so good. Another thing that I need to do more of. On this page, I've added some Inktense pencils and I've just put some gesso over the top. Inktense pencils are very bright, but if you add a thin layer of gesso, it just dulls it a little bit down. The paper is so smooth with the gesso on there. I remember writing on this and my pen just glided over the paper. It felt really good. And then we went to a cafe and it had some history behind it. It used to be an old primary school. I really love things like that, so I've tipped that in the middle. This is from Tim Holtz, some tissue wrap, and I just love that you can see a little bit of the writing through, but it also covers it up. There's nothing personal at the back that I need to cover, but I just love that it adds a bit of like mystery to the whole page. I did my date on a black label. I really love how it pops out. I've got a bit of smudging going on there, but it's okay. It adds to the charm of the journal. This background's been done with watercolor. I love these tabs. They are from Daiso and they've come in very handy. We went to the botanical garden, so of course I've grabbed a map. It's quite big, but it fits in well. I love things like that. This fabric is really such a nice design. It's got music print on it. Again, another one of my favorites. I don't have a lot of it left, so I'm saving the last bits and pieces. I tried something different here. Instead of doing my journaling straight onto the page, I actually took my photos that I've taken, made a postcard out of it, and I've just tipped it in with some journaling at the back, and I've added a really old postage stamp there. I've been adding a lot of postage stamps to my journaling, and I really love that. Then this background, I think it's stunning. I really love the color scheme and just the whole effect of it. I used some distress stain. It was vintage photo mustard seed and I think a little bit of spiced marmalade. And I've got this piece of glass that's supposed to go into my calyx unit to add my scrapbook paper to, but I've bought too many of it, so I used that glass. I've added the distress stain to it. I sprayed it with some water, and then I turned my book around and I just placed it on top of the color, and it soaked in beautifully into the page. I collect maps and pamphlets wherever we go, so this is from a map, and we went to Mornington, so I thought that was very fitting to add there. I've got a lot of tip-ins here with my photos. It's a good way if you've got a lot of photos to incorporate it into your page without taking up too much space. This is a Tim Holtz journaling card, and I love the layered effect that I did here, and that just tips out too. This is some more tea that I've had, so I've created a pocket out of the packaging. I used the label to add here at the top. It's actually coming a little bit looser. I think I should just tie it and make it a little bit more secure. But now, of course, that I'm on camera, it is quite small to get this all through, but there we go. But I just did my journaling there at the back, and I've added the label just so it's easier to get it out of the pocket in case you struggle, but also it just adds another element to it, which I really think is cool. Then on this page, I have added some fabric and also some lace, and I would love to have sewn that in there, but I didn't really want to try and get this whole book through the sewing machine. I suppose I could have put it through the sewing machine and then just like that, and then stick it down with glue. But anyway, I'm getting off the point. This is from a Maggie Holmes pack. I can't remember the name of it. And then some Jane Davenport journaling tattoos or rub-ons. I also have a lot of small paper clips in here. They're from Tim Holtz. They are so cute, and they're not bulky at all, so they really fit in well with these smaller journals. I made an envelope out of old book paper, and again did some sewing. I've closed it up with some washi tape. I love adding texture with buttons and lace. And inside, I've just added some photos, and then I did my journaling at the back. The background was done with some tea staining, and also I did some stenciling. Just another little tip in. And this is a coffee sleeve, or whatever you call it. So when you order coffee, just to make sure you don't burn yourself, they add the sleeve over it. So I've cut a part of it off and I turned it into a pocket. Another journaling card with some photos on, or a photo on. I made a little tab there. And these pieces, they are also from Tim Holtz. I love this font. I got it from a magazine, and I thought this was the perfect spot to insert it with all of the ephemera pieces. Again, something else that I've tried, it's brown paper from a paper bag, and I've just covered most of my page in it. I actually added my journaling on the inside of this map, and I've used some acrylic ink to just get a black background, and then with a white gel pen. More like little Tim Holtz things here. This is a playing card. I bought them from an antique store, and this is from Craft. I really love how it frames the photo. This is again tea staining, but I've done it through a stencil. I really think these banners are so cute. It's got a very vintage feel to it. If you want it to be more modern, you can just use more colorful scrapbook paper to achieve that. This is like an old book page, so I've cut out a big banner, and then Craft scrapbook paper, and I've just cut out a smaller banner, added a postage stamp and a button, and Bob's your uncle. This is some, what do you call it? I'm gonna get onto it now. Wallpaper, vintage wallpaper. I've done a cluster here with piano roll paper, a postage stamp. This is from Tim Holtz, and just some printed ribbon. On the inside, I've got photos, and it was actually my birthday on this day, so my husband bought Harry Potter theatre tickets, and you actually only get your tickets, I think, 2 or 3 days before the show. So he made these. I thought that was so thoughtful of him. We also went on a train ride, and this was actually a huge pamphlet, but I've cut it apart because I actually wanted to just get the map. This was the route that the train took. And then the bits that I didn't want, I covered up, and I just did some journaling at the back. I have actually done the flip through, and I was busy doing the music version when I got to this page and it didn't look familiar. So I don't think I've shown it to you, and I don't want to leave it out of the video. So I'm going to pop it in somewhere and just show you this page, because I really think it's come beautifully together. The color scheme is so me. I use some masking fluid and watercolor. If you haven't used masking fluid before, I highly recommend it. It's so fun, and I really love the effect. Then I've got this beautiful business card from a clothing shop that I've added, and just some photos where I documented where I've bought some eco lines, and I've just shown some of my favorite colors. Just another map. And then this background was done with dishwashing liquid, food coloring, and a little bit of water. You blow bubbles, and then you just burst them on the page. Really fun to do. It's got a very light background because I wanted to keep it light with the pink fabric that I've added here, and just to give it more of a little bit of a vintage feel, not completely, but with this it sort of gives it that feel. If you want it to be a little bit brighter, I would suggest using maybe Distress Stain, Ecoline, or anything that's got a light fastness to it, if you would like this to be more clear. Then this is from Tim Holtz, and then I've just added a photo and some journaling at the back. This page I used acrylic paint and one of these, I don't know what you call it, I think it's a sponge brush, but I'm not sure. And I just used the acrylic paint, and I've painted it on with this. Really fun and easy way to add the paint. And I've also got some white over there. This is a Project Life journaling card, and we actually went to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So I used this. I usually wrap my Etsy orders in here. I've got this small one, and then I've got a larger one, and I thought this fits very well with the photo, so I've used that as a background. The background here is also with acrylic paint, but this time I used a brayer. And I did it with blue, and I think I've also got some gesso. I can see I've added like a white or a gesso to it. This is like those transparency scrapbook papers like acetate, and I've just added my photos to it. It's got a doily design there. And on this side, I've used a Kaisercraft journaling card. I love that you can use it this way or that way. And then I've just added another map. This is such a bright and beachy page. It makes me in the mood to just go to the beach. So I've used a lot of my blue and green paints, and I did some swatching. I didn't rinse my brush. You can still see the brush strokes, which I am really there for. That's what I was trying to create. But you can see the different colors even though I didn't rinse my brush. And I would try to print my photos a little bit differently, use some brown paper. Brown paper comes in so handy. It's really not expensive, but as you can see, you can use it for so many things. Then I went to the handmade market, so I've created a pocket out of this postcard, but I think I've got some personal information under here that I don't want to reveal, so I'm just going to add that there. And it opens up, whoops, the flowers are getting in the way. It opens up into this photo postcard that I've done. So a lot of photos that I took during October and November, collaged it together, printed that, and then I've made a pocket out of it where I've got a ticket in here and just another chopsticks wrapper. You can see that I love Asian food, and that's a lot of the time what we'll order if we are ordering takeaways. Then this was done with Distress Stain Vintage Photo, a beautiful brown, and I applied it to acrylic block and just swiped it very quickly across the page. A lot of magazine clippings and another bit of transparency over here. I first had it paper clipped, but later on I decided to stick it down. We went to the Seagull for a night, so I've stuck that in there, and then I just did a shopping list. The Seagull is a hotel here in Australia, if you're not familiar with it. Then I dried some flowers. It was really fun, so I wanted to include it into my journal. Another tip in, and then this envelope or pocket is from a Paper Lovers book that I bought, that I've got a flip through of it. It's the Flow book for paper lovers, something like that. So I've just used my Damo labeler, some more dried flowers, put it through the sewing machine. I mean, how can I not? And then just another map in there. The background here was actually done with gelato, believe it or not. I applied it very lightly with a brush that I got with it, and this is sewing pattern paper, and I've just added some stamps, and under it I've got some cheesecloth. Another chopsticks wrapper that I'm well known for. Then this was a stencil from Jane Davenport with some distress ink. I think this Kaisercraft ticket is just gorgeous. And I loved adding a staple through it instead of sticking it. I think it just brings more of a vintage feel to the page. And then I did collaging here with a lot of different materials. I actually got this paper, some of my birthday presents were wrapped in it, and this wasn't actually on my birthday, but I've got so much of that paper left, and I want to use it on any day whenever I want to, so I've decided to add it in there. It's still got a special memory. And then this background was done with gold watercolor. It's like that metallic, it's, what is it called? I think it's called Fine Tech, and it's Arabic gold. I wonder if you will be able to pick up the shine, but I've got a process video of this. Let me see if I can get it to, if I stand up and I just, there we go. If I turn it like that, you can see the shine on there. it's quite difficult when you're sitting down and making a video to know what's happening at the top. And then this is my last page. So I've kept it very simple, just some Tim Holtz tissue paper, postage stamps, and that is from a Daphne's diary. And that's my journal. I hope you've enjoyed this flip through, that it wasn't too long. Excuse me, I've been talking way too much. But I hope you've enjoyed this flip through, that it wasn't too long. And I am thinking of starting a junk journal next. Let me know what you think about that. And then hopefully I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye.